Hi, this is Steve O'Hare from Acuity. Today is Monday, the 13th of June. Welcome to another Acuity Market Alert. And today we're looking at Bitcoin. We've eventually and at long last seen the break of support that we've been talking about, the risk of for a long time. So we're going to dive straight into the chart and we're going to look at the technicals. We're going to mainly focus on the weekly and daily chart. The 1 hour and 4 hour chart don't give us much to really to go on, mainly because it's been very one-way traffic. So let's take a look at the weekly chart and really sort of like do a little bit of a deep dive into what we're seeing here. So let's remind ourselves back in 2017, towards the end of 2017, we hit this lovely little high here just below $20,000. Now after that we saw a huge amount of consolidation over the next year really, and we saw the prices move down to eventually posting a low about a year later, 12 months later, at just below $3,000. So I think the low was about 2,000. Well, let's call it 3,000, 2,850, I think, before we started to see this impulsive move higher. And we saw this in three waves. We saw the first leg higher, get to about 14,000, the pullback then to about 4,000. Then the next wave up saw it top out around about the 42,000 level. Don't know if you remember that, quite a way ago now, back at the start of January. We saw a correction back down to 28,800. That's significant for a number of reasons, and we'll go into a bit more detail on why. And then we saw the fifth and final wave, and that pushed up, and we saw a high of 65,000. Now, after that, the correction actually took out that high, and if we look at it now, we're seeing this really sort of awkward looking correction, and we managed to top out at around about the $69,000 level. Now, that seems like a long way away now. That was back in November last year. And since then, we've had this A, B, C correction lower. So very typical technical formations on the market. And that's just looking back over the last 5 years. Now, one of the other indicators it's nice to see on here is this indicator on the right hand side. This is really a volume distribution indicator. This shows us where most of the volume has traded. And if you look at it, it's all the way down here around about $7,500. That's where most of the activity has taken place. Now the move above the 20,000 level saw a lot of retail investment and getting dragged into this, and the market pushed higher, correction lower, then another attractive looking investment for retail traders saw the ultimate push towards 69,000. Now, over that time, we see we've had 3 or 4 pullbacks towards this 28,800 level, and we even talked about this last week that really we've never had a close below this 28,800, and that actually occurred Sunday night, and we saw a close at 26,585. The follow-through selling today has been non-stop. There's some exchanges struggling to allow customers to withdraw Bitcoin, and really putting pressure on the coin itself. And this is having a knock-on effect across the board. Even today, we're down 13% on Bitcoin. On the year, we're down about 40%. And yeah, it's looking like that across the board. You can see the different coins that I've looked at previously: Ethereum, Ripple, Dogecoin getting away with it a little bit, but all the others really struggling. UST is like a stable coin that shouldn't move, not like it did on the lunar side the other week. So that's the weekly chart and looks very negative indeed. So what levels are we looking at? Let's drill down to a daily chart to give us a little bit more on where to expect support coming in, or a little bit of respite from this aggressive selling. So really for me, 20,000 is the level. That's a key level. Wouldn't be surprised to find buyers coming in there and trying to support this market. Ultimately, I think we will see this break and prices move further lower. The next levels after that of interest for me is the 14,000 level. That was a swing high back in June 2019. And also around about the 10,000 level, both from a psychological point of view, but also was a pretty key level when we had the big breakup, this inverse head and shoulders that we talked about a long time ago, going back a couple of years at the start of the pandemic, to be exact. And they're the sort of levels to watch. Now, so technically, we still look for further downside. There's nothing to show us that this is going to end anytime soon. In fact, if we want to be brutal, we could say this 65,000 high and this 69,000 high form part of a double top. The neckline comes in at 28,800. That's now broken, and a confirmed break of that should lead to a measured move target. Now, don't want to really panic anyone too much, but to find a measured move target, that's how you do it. You take it from the neckline down. That targets a move to 12,700. Now that for me is an area which will prove to be really interesting, and would be a nice level to even start to accumulate a little bit if you don't own any Bitcoin, but I'm not going to advise that. But yeah, that's for me, 12,000 around about that level is a natural level to progress to. Now, also want to just highlight a thing back on the weekly chart. There's a red level here. So this is a Fibonacci retracement level. So if we take the low of the 2018 up to the high, draw in the Fibonacci lines, a natural retracement would be 61.8%. That was 28,287. 78.6% looks very prime. That comes in at 17,220. So enough of the technicals. Let's look at the new sentiment as well. So what does the new sentiment tell us on that? Let's select Bitcoin. So over the past 24 hours, we can see news sentiment has turned negative. However, over the last week, it was looking pretty positive up until yesterday. And we saw this new sentiment. This is a 7-day moving average on the chart below. You can see that new sentiment has been pretty positive over the last month. And although price has diverged away, we can see back on the 8th of June, we saw this market alert to sell. We got a market alert on the 12th. That was a buy market alert. We can see that as a 70% of the last 10 occurrences price has risen within 1 day. So that was just a 1-day market alert, and we saw nothing really. It broke clean through it and continues to move lower. So looks like we could see potentially new sentiment also starting to follow this market down. Price absolutely getting hammered as we speak, trading here at 26,400. Obviously we're trading a lot lower than that now, trading at 23,000. So once that updates, that will tell a much different story. So yeah, back to the charts, the overall opinion, there doesn't look to be any positive news coming out that will support Bitcoin in the short term. 20,000 looks like nailed on at this point in time. And for me, looking for real value area, I'd be looking around about the 12,000 level. But I'd definitely wait for some sort of constructive trading around any sort of level before I thought about investing. So thanks for that. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to catching you again next week.